Welcome to the best damn show in crypto. It's NFTLive. We're bringing you the best from NFT land, from across the crypto landscape. We are coming in hot. Thank you, Buffalo, for dropping those amazing memes. Thank you, Lads community, for making the amazing memes. We've got ourselves a great episode, man. Ronin, what's up?
Not much, man. It's been a hell of a week, huh? As always in NFT land, it's always busy. It's always a good time, man. It's going pretty good.
Awesome, man. Well, we got a great episode that we're going to get to here. We've got a game night tonight. The Lads community's got our game night. We're going to do another Among Us episode here. That'll be fun to take part in. We've got some B-roll from the game night, but we might show it now. We might show it later. But Buff, I want to bring you in like the next 30 seconds, so just be ready for that. But Ronin, what's going on this past week, man? As far as NFTs go, what did you kind of get into?
Oh man, what did I get into when it comes to NFTs? Honestly, it was actually kind of a slow week for me. I really didn't do like a whole lot of actually collecting this week. So it was more so just kind of keeping up with the news, trying to keep up with everything going on. So much has been happening like in the space. It's like it's difficult to keep up with sometimes.
100%, bud. So this is the kind of rundown for the week, guys. As far as this episode is concerned, we've got that Christie's auction house auctioning off that. I believe it was Block 21 was the piece, and it did something like 7x what they were estimating. One of the first times that an NFT, it's kind of like a digital physical good, was auctioned in that house. We'll touch on that in a second. We're going to lead with that piece. We've got some Adobe AR talking about NFTs. We've got the Flow auction selling out. A ton of people have been interested in Flow. OpenSea made some updates. We've got some Ethereum market overviews. Pilgrimage. We got Meme. Always talking about Meme on the show these days. We've got an NFT hackathon. DCL blogger on Ivan on Tech, Zed Ronin, and Avastar giveaway. So that's kind of the full episode we've got coming at you guys. Hopefully you're having a good week. Let's touch on some of these comments, man. What do you see in the comments from the lads?
What's going on, guys? Man, it seems like everybody's super hype as always. We appreciate the energy you guys bring. What's going on, Danny? Hello, World, Scott, Dab Dragon. Appreciate you guys joining us. The Whale family is watching, so thank you guys so much for joining in on Discord. We do appreciate that very much. Ari's here. Kieran, DJ Wisdom, what's up, dude? Pinochle Longhair, Paul. We appreciate all of you guys jumping in, hanging out, and especially smashing the like button. And again, from the Whale community, Critter, thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
100%, guys. If you are in the whale community, we appreciate you showing up, man. You guys are awesome. We talk about you guys probably more than we should on the Layer One channel, but you guys are one to definitely look out for as we go forward in the NFT space and the broader community. So great to have you guys in. We hope you like the memes as you kind of came in there. That is Buffalo behind the scenes that's doing that for us. So I want to bring him in now. We want to kind of get his take on what happened this past week. Buff, what's going on, my man?
What's up, my fellow lads? Yeah, man, I love those memes. I plan on really presenting a lot of the content you lads create and putting it on the show. So throughout the week, if you're working on anything lads related, send it to us. I'll put it on the show. I want to give you guys the shout outs on that. Got comments flooding in, just got everything set up on the YouTube. We're getting Twitter as well, so make sure to tag us on NFTLive. I see those tweets as well and can put them on the screen. Got a great show for you guys. Got some cool video on my roll here in a little bit, along with some game night footage. So we'll talk more about the game night, and we are doing a game night later on tonight. I will be recording that as well. And also we'll talk a little bit about some giveaways that are coming up. So yeah, I mean, I'm stoked. I know you guys are stoked. Let's just get it rolling here, and yeah, let's have a good show, guys.
Yeah, Buff, I want to
Excellent.
before you leave, I want to kind of get your take on the metaverse auction that you took part in with Vulcanverse. How did that go in like a really short sentence? How did it go for you?
It went a short sentence. It went. It happened. It's over. I got you know how these launches go. It's chaos, and then as the dust settles, you look at your wallet and see, did the transactions go through? Do I got land? And I think it went as smooth as you could hope for after everything set on fire at the beginning. You know, I mean, with all these people coming on board to try to purchase something all at once, there's really no way to test that until you do it. And so they opened up the land sale and they got overwhelmed and it kind of lagged. But once I got my land, I kind of stood back and observed. And I think now everyone's excited. I mean, the Vulcanverse is sold out. So, with other metaverses, they're constantly expanding and growing. Vulcanverse is taking the other route and saying, you know what, there's only going to be so much land. Those who have the land, they can either hold on to it or they can sell it to someone else who wants the land. And that's kind of how that system's going to work on the Vulcanverse metaverse. So I'm stoked to have my land. I don't plan on selling it. I plan on growing it. I have a major project I'll be announcing here in the coming weeks. That's going to be under layer one, and I can't wait to tell you guys more about that. But I'm going to hold off until later. But it's over. I got land in the Vulcanverse, and I hope some of you guys do as well. And we also got another giveaway from the Vulcanverse that will happen starting next episode. So look forward to that, you guys.
Awesome.
Amazing, man.
Yeah, we appreciate that update.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, have a good show.
Awesome. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna roll some of that footage. We're gonna let Buff kind of get settled after that, but we're gonna roll some of that footage from game night, man, because we had game night last week. There it is. We got it on the screen. What do we got? There's Buff. So this was our community playing Among Us. Mike Scott was amazing. What did you think about this game night?
Oh man, it was so much fun, dude. We had such a good time, and it was like one of those things that I didn't even really like plan on like attending, and we went straight into it after the show last week. And we had a lot of fun. Yeah, Mike is if you guys want to win at Among Us, yeah, don't include Mike. He's really good.
Ronin like 3 separate times. I don't know if you guys know how this works, but it's like you start on a ship and you have to fix the ship, and while you're trying to fix it, there's 2 imposters that are trying to kill you. And Ronin specifically, I think like 2 or 3 times pressed the report button on myself and a bunch of other lads saying, look,
And
Ronin's
that's what
getting kicked out
happens.
here.
You got voted out on that one, Ronin.
And then I get voted out.
He was the imposter too. Everyone knew that one.
Yeah. Ronin multiple times I felt like was like trying to call people out, and like it would throw him off the ship and say he was not an imposter. So
Buffalo followed me around for like 10 minutes, man. At some point you gotta like save your own life. Like
I was innocent, man. I was just scared. I didn't want to be alone.
Yeah. Well, either way, we had a really good time with Among Us, man, and I think that obviously we're gonna do the lads are doing another game night tonight, and if you guys have some free time, you should definitely jump in the Discord. There's a really good community growing there, and the lads are really showing up. So.
Yeah, 100%. Scott's in the chat. We'll get to the chat here in a second. You guys are filling it up, and I really like it. And we have this game night here tonight that we'll do Among Us again in our Discord. So you need Discord access. If you have 1,000 lads, we're sending those invites out tonight if you're not already in the Citadel. If you want to play and you kind of want to get involved, we might send you a temporary access to the Citadel, but we're kicking you out in the morning. And then, yeah, man, this is Scott was asking if this was a mobile game. This is actually on Steam. So it's actually a desktop game on Steam, and that's the situation.
Also on mobile,
so,
though.
Oh, it is on mobile.
Yeah, I found that out actually last night. I was sitting in the bathtub and I was like looking through the iOS app store, and it was like it's like the top grossing game in the last 2 weeks or something like that. And I didn't even realize. So yeah, you can play it on mobile. You can play it on like tablets. You can play it on PC. I think somebody said you could even play it on console. So it's a fun game, right? Like it gets people like really involved with each other. You have to lie. You have to kind of like connive. You know what I mean? Like if you play multiple imposters, then you're trying to coordinate like with your imposter partner, but you can't talk, right? You can't talk while the actual like action is happening. So it makes for a really fun environment, and obviously I think that it brings together the community. You play games together, you get to know each other a little bit more, and I think that's kind of the goal, right? So
100%. So we're doing that tonight. I don't know if it's 8 o'clock or 8:30, but it's in that time frame, and we'll go for like an hour and a half. I think that's what it launched. We're not inviting Mike Scott this week because we actually want to win at the game. So we're gonna no, I'm just kidding, Mike. Come on in. All right, so guys, the only other thing I think we have to talk about from a layer one perspective and a lads perspective is that AMA we did yesterday. If you want to know more about the lads token and the lads community and kind of get a breakdown of what we're doing here, check out the token AMA that we did yesterday. It's on our YouTube channel, so you should be able to find it. And that was a big overview, and we appreciate all of the lads that came out to ask questions. So that was huge.
It was a huge turnout, and I think that like a lot of the questions that you guys had asked you were excellent questions. Kind of just figuring out where Lads is going, kind of what the plan is for the future.
Hmm.
Obviously for NFT Live and Lads, as we are a Lads channel, and I think that like the community is going to love what's coming, right? And I think that it's just exciting for everybody. And if you're in, awesome, congratulations, you got in on the ground floor of something that's going to be really cool. And if you're not, then we invite you to come join the party.
Yeah, that Discord link, or actually no Telegram link right now, but we're moving to Discord. That Telegram link is in the description below. If you want to get into the Lads community, we're always welcome to new members kind of joining in and providing some value, but also just coming on and hanging out. So without further ado, guys, we're gonna get to this episode. I want us to touch on a couple comments. So pick some that you kind of see here that maybe I don't call out, but Kieran's first. Got to
Mm.
have Kieran. Danny's getting some popcorn before the show starts. Bruno is probably up at like 2 or 3 a.m. We appreciate the guys listening in that APAC region, man. That's crazy. But Scott is here. Fresco's here. DJ's here. We got a lot of lads in the chat. Paul Young, Pinochle, just everybody. So who do you see that we can give a shout out to? Appreciate everyone coming in.
Absolutely. I see Inez, Sandy Sandy Meows, Fadley, Arsad. I don't know that comment, but there was a comment earlier that I wanted to touch on, and it was Dab Dragon actually chimed in when we were talking about the land, and he said that land is always going to be a good investment. And I think that's 100% true. I don't think there's a single land auction or land sale in any of these metaverses that are currently out there that has not been a success as far as if you're trying to invest. You've got land like Decentraland or Vulcanverse, right, that is limited in their land. So once they sell out, they're done. And you can see that in the price, right? Like Decentraland land is not cheap at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then you compare that to like crypto voxels. Crypto voxels can actually expand their world. So he can continue to add land as much as he wants. Obviously, you're going to get to a point where you probably don't want to add any land. So the land that's currently existing and that's there, the value continues to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, your investors would appreciate that. But I do think that it's a solid investment regardless of where it's at, as long as like you believe in the project, as long as they've got like a clear roadmap. And obviously, like anything else in crypto, do your own research. Make sure you're looking into who's running the project, if they've run anything before, if they've ever had something that they ran before and they ran into the ground. You know what I mean? Like look for the red flags. Make sure you're
Mm-hmm.
watching out for those types of things. But yeah, land I think is always a really good option.
Yeah, me and Buffalo had a little date, and we were kind of going. I'm joking, first of all, guys. But we had a little kind of, yeah, we were kind of going around the different metaverse. So we got into Decentraland, we got into crypto voxels. We were doing something for lads. That's about all I'll say about that. But we also went into the sandbox. Ronin took us in and kind of streamed it for us. So a lot of cool things happening in the metaverse as it's related to layer 1 too. I'll just leave that there and we'll talk
Yep.
about that later. So again, appreciate everybody in the chat. I think the all-time high for NFTLive, that's not a sale day episode, is I believe somewhere in the vicinity of like 45. So just going to put that out there. We're sitting at 34 right now. So if we can get over 45, which is that 46 mark, then we'll drop some more lads to guys who are engaging today. If you don't know about lads, go get in the chat. We'll explain it there because we don't have time. We're already 20 minutes in, it feels like, and we need to get to this news. So kind of breaking massive news that I'm going to start with here is a Bitcoin art piece. So it looks like it's separate 40-piece series here. One piece of this just went on sale and was sold in an auction at Christie's. Now I don't know much about Christie's. I'm not like a really big art head when it comes to auction houses and things like that. But Christie's is this big art facility or art auction house in New York City. They potentially, and I'm going to pull up their other tweet here. Let me make sure I get this. They had this set out for selling around 20,000, I believe. And it sold for 131,000, 7x higher than their estimate. And the really cool thing about this too is the fact that it's digiphysical. So it's one of the first, I believe, digiphysical goods, meaning that there's going to be a corresponding NFT that goes along with this that can probably be displayed, I'm guessing, in some all of the metaverses, but also within people's wallets and things like that. That's going to be going along with this physical piece. So it's one of the first times that's actually happened. definitely one of the first times at one of these big art houses.
100%. It's the first time that an NFT has been sold in like a legitimate, established auction house, and specifically like for Christie's has been around for 250 years. I think the only other auction house that even compares would be like, of course, as soon as I go to say it, my Sotheby's, right? So,
Mm,
it's huge. It's huge, and I think that like what you take from this is that it's bigger than we even assume, right? Like, so
mm-hmm,
if you look at the page, the actual sale page on Christie's, it's
mm-hmm,
got the estimate, like you said, it was 12 to 18,000 is what they assumed this thing would sell for. And I mean, at what, 13x that, right? So the interest is there, I think, for digiphysical, obviously. And I think more so, we are going to see the big boys, as far as auction houses are concerned, kind of come in and start
mm.
providing some actual NFTs for that community. So it would be cool to see like the first one that goes up on, they bring in like a massive, I don't know, 55-inch, super HD monitor, and then they display like a really dope piece of an NFT, right? Like that would be so cool, man. That would be so
Yeah,
cool.
sorry I was clicking around there, fellas. But basically, I'm trying to get you some of the information behind this project too, because even like the overarching stuff that Ronan just talked about is amazing. But if you think about all of the things that went into this piece, apparently the artist, who again is breaking this into 40 parts, so like I think the diameter is somewhere in the vicinity of, I think I'll put it all together. It's about 50 meters long. I'm trying to find the diameter for you guys, but I believe it's about like 3 or 4 feet. I don't. I need to kind of confirm that. But the guy quit his job to do this. He had a job. I believe here it is. Ben Gentili of the Robert Alice Project has called this collective piece "Portraits of a Mind." Described as a digital fingerprint carved out of paint. Each of the 40 individual pieces contains a chunk of the original code of Bitcoin. And then he has that centerpiece that's kind of supposed to be a portrait of Satoshi Nakamoto. We all know Satoshi is anonymous, so he left that portion anonymous. So what you have here is an engraving of all the Bitcoin version 1 or version 01 code inside of these, or on top, and engraved in these pieces, split into 40 different pieces.
Yeah, yeah, and this is just a quote that I thought was really cool from the Sotheby's the lot information. So it
Mm-hmm.
says, "Portraits of a Mind is a symbolic expression of decentralization, drawing up a global network of 40 collectors where no one individual will hold all of that code." Referencing the iconic supply of the world's first cryptocurrency, 21 million, which is Bitcoin. Block 21 is the first work from the project to be made publicly available. So this is only the first piece of 40. Um, and it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool.
100%. There's a lot of little tidbits of information. I think early in the article, and this article is by Decrypt, they did a really good breakdown. Decrypt actually does really good breakdowns of a lot of stories, so I'm not surprised that they did this, but this is one of their best pieces that I've seen. It looks like it is about 4 feet in diameter, the actual physical piece. There's like gold engravings that signify kind of the mining that goes on. So there's like a lot of really cool pieces. I think CZ from Binance owns a couple of these pieces as well. So definitely a lot of cool stuff. I'll kind of link the article here now, and I'll put it in the description if you guys want to check it out. But holy crap, man, that's this is a big story.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and I think that like it blows my mind that there's even anybody, especially people who are in crypto, that still think like NFTs have no use case, or NFTs are just the fad of the moment. Like
Hmm.
this is proving yet again that there is a real use case for it, right? So like, there's no reason that NFTs will not continue to evolve and change different industries across the world, right? Like we've already seen.
Hmm.
I mean, you've got NFTs that offer insurance, right? So at the end of the day, like this will be permeating like your life in five
Hmm.
to 10 years. You know what I mean? So I think that at this point, I don't really. Any of you guys see on Twitter these guys talking about NFTs and how they're not valid, just copy paste, which they love to talk about, right? Right click, save as, save the link, send it to them, and let them decide what $130,000 is worth, right?
Hmm. Yeah, let's get one, Buffalo. If you can you pull up this one last shot of all the pieces together? I think that's a really cool look at kind of, and it's not all the pieces. It looks like six of the major, or 7 of the pieces. But yeah, again, split all over the world. Really cool visual there of all the pieces
Wow.
there. One was sold at Christie's for 100 and I believe almost $20,000. So that is a big, big story.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Which kind of brings us into the next one, and this is just kind of playing off of that same idea of NFTs are actually gaining like some serious like attention from like the outside world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I've got here is this is actually a tweet from Joy, which if you guys don't know Joy, he does Joy World. They're 3D figurines that he animates and are absolutely dope. I know the whale community is familiar because he's been around forever. But he does some really cool stuff, man, and his work is amazing. And this tweet came out. They put it out that he's been using Adobe AR for a while to do his work. They don't specifically mention NFTs, but I feel like anybody who is even halfway interested in this video is going to go down the rabbit hole because that's how he sells his work. So I think that this was just another really big moment where a company says, okay, we're going to put it out there that like there's this thing going on. And I think that we're seeing more and more of that over the last couple of months, especially the last few weeks. And I think we will continue to see more and more of that. And it's an absolutely wonderful thing for the space because the more people who are curious, the more people who are interested, the more people who get into it, the better, right? So, yep,
Yeah, I feel
just
like I
another.
wake up I feel like I wake up every morning and like see a new thing that I just wasn't involved with or didn't know about from Ronin kind of liking these tweets, and this is certainly one of them. So is this guy looking to get into actually the sale of like NFTs on the different marketplaces? Well, I am
Who,
completely
Joy?
oblivious to Joy.
You don't know Joy?
No, I don't.
No, he's actually been putting out NFTs for a while, like a while.
Okay.
And his NFTs are some of those that are now like along the same lines as Axie, where they're being sold for a lot of money. He does some of the craziest stuff, man. You can see in that video he's got little triceratops. I mean, he's got ones where it's like he made the most recent one was like this creature that had wheels and like moved on the wheels and it's
Mm,
just fun. Basically his whole premise is like he just wants to be joy to the world, right? Like he wants you to look at the art that he's created and just feel happy. And honestly, he's one of those people that I can't wait to reach out to, and hopefully we can get him on the show and we can have a chat because he's just like you're gonna sit down, you're gonna talk to him, and you're gonna be like, you're gonna get off the call, and you're gonna be like, dude, that guy was just the most positive person ever. I've seen multiple interviews because I just think he's super intriguing, and what he's doing is excellent for the space, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, 100%, man. I know I lost a lot of clout there, but guys, just straight up front, I'm not that big into the art scene. Ronan's been pulling me in slowly, and I've definitely been super interested. So yeah, based on these pieces, man, really really cool, unique, I think, artwork there, in that GIF creation and the video creation there. So really cool. I can't wait to kind of dive down. I think once everything settles down, and we get kind of steady as we go with layer one and lads. Hopefully I
Mhm.
can start really diving deep on this artwork because this looks amazing, man.
Oh, I know, man. It's hard to, I'm like, Twitter's the way that I keep up. Like, I like and retweet stuff that I'm like, okay, this is going to be good to like remember. And then, like, when we do our
Mm,
show notes, I'm like just going through my Twitter because it's so difficult to keep up with everything going on when we've got so much going on for lads and layer one in the background, right? Like, I mean, just right before we got on the call, we got another,
mhm.
contact that is going to come out to be some new content we're going to be putting out next week for you guys. So watch out for that on Twitter. Again, at NFTLive. You're definitely gonna watch that space. We're gonna have some really cool content coming the next couple of weeks, and it's just gonna continue to ramp up. We're in everybody's DMs right now, man, and we're really just
Mhm.
trying to produce some really excellent content for this community. But while we're talking about it, I do want to go ahead and hop on to some comments.
Okay.
Dab Dragon points out that Well Family does love Joy. Paul says, I still don't know what to think about fractionalized NFTs. We're gonna have to get into the weeds about that, maybe like on a slow week, because that's something that I would like to talk about too, because we did discuss it a little bit, and you and I kind of weren't really in the same
Mhm.
spot as far as that's concerned. But by the end of the conversation, I feel like we did. I kind of at least understood behind that. Sandy Meows pointed out that that last piece was an excellent piece. Hillary says, "Hey lads, Gunny Smith is in chat asking, are we going to be getting into the Alien Worlds release tomorrow?" So Alien Worlds is a project launching on Wax that looks to be the first metaverse on that chain. I
Mm.
personally have not done a ton of research on that, honestly. Like, wax is something that like I'm invested in, but it's so difficult to like keep up with how many projects are like, because it has the open marketplace, right? Atomic Assets allows
Mhm.
anybody to go in and put, you know, NFTs out. So keeping up with everything going on is kind of difficult. I personally have not looked into that enough. I will definitely check it out tonight and see if, if it's something that I'm interested in. I do know that they've got some different things that they've been doing. I got like a free NFT drop from them at one point, which was, it was like a little Android or something. But
Mm.
yeah, it should be interesting, and hopefully next week I can give you guys a little bit better information on that, because I honestly, just being honest, I haven't really been able to keep up with it.
Yeah, I think that goes for the whole space and everyone that's involved, man. As NFTs grow out, it's going to be even harder and harder to kind of
Yeah.
work this out. So we're doing our best to kind of sparse the information and get it to you guys. I do want to get to some comments here. We had some comments on Flow, and I have been getting some DMs from the lads about Flow specifically. We know that they're pretty much the protocol is launched by Dapper Labs. Obviously, we had CryptoKitties on Ethereum. They noticed all of the hard things that go along with kind of scaling a game that has a lot of microtransactions on the Ethereum blockchain. So they decided, hey, we're going to build our own Flow protocol. Is that they just had their token sale on Coinlist that we'll touch on in a second. But it is interesting to see a couple things that kind of popped up along with the sale. They did have a community sale round on October 3rd. So this is actually the second sale that they had here on Coinlist. I'll touch on it now. We're going to kind of go through this Cointelegraph article. It looks like they obviously ran this Dutch auction, meaning that the supply actually like started with this sale, and as people kind of bid on the price, the price would go down over time. So it started around $1. People were bidding on it, thinking that, hey, look, like it could end up at a higher price. They basically had this Dutch auction, and the final sale price, or what they call the final settlement price in a Dutch auction, was 38 cents. That's significant because in the actual pre-seed round, I believe this pre-seed round was around 9 or 10 cents. So that was a significant increase for those that invested in the pre-seed round. We had been watching this for a little while. The auction started on October 6th. It ended. This represents about 2% of the total supply of Flow. I believe it's 25 million tokens, and now they're subject to a 12-month lockup. I saw a couple comments as well talking about not interacting with Flow. Flow is actually not on mainnet yet. The launch is scheduled for Q4 of this year. They have launched in closed beta and now open beta the NBA Top Shot. We've kind of taken part in some of the sales on there. That's a really cool platform. But we're super interested in the kind of growth. I think, at least us at NFTLive, we're super interested in the growth of Flow in general. I think they've brought on a lot of IPs. We've heard about Dr. Seuss. They have UFC. They have the WWE. They just have so many different, things that they have going on. I think Flow could be one of the biggest players, easily the biggest player
Mhm.
in the NFT space, and it could be fairly quickly. They're tying themselves to the NFT space very closely, which no other protocol has really done up to this point, other than probably Wax. So it'll be interesting to see what that happens with Flow, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I know somebody asked earlier in chat. It was kind of during the intro when we mentioned that we were going to be talking about Flow, how you get Flow in the United States. I tried. I even know a guy over at Flow. If you're in the United States, it's literally you can't do it. There's some
Mm-hmm.
people are able with some of these other tokens. You're able to do like use like a VPN or something like that. But wherever they were doing the flow sale, it actually took place somewhere where you had to confirm you had to like KYC like your address and like all types of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So as far as I know, there was like no way, because I definitely wanted to. I think Flow is going to be huge. I think that the fact that they are targeting IPs, and
Mm-hmm.
they are almost building out their own little community within those IPs, is an excellent idea. You kind of build that, just you get all the people who are really interested in a project together, right? And then that helps drive that project. So going in with NBA Live right now, and then the next one is going to be Dr. Seuss, and then I believe it's
Mm-hmm.
UFC. Those are three totally different like spaces, right? Like you got fighting,
Mm-hmm.
you've got nursery rhymes, and then you've got NBA sports. So I think the fact that they're really just targeting like just really big IPs that they think would do well in this space is excellent. It's a good business
Mm-hmm.
model. I think that they're approaching it very well. They every day Roham puts out there how important the community is to their growth, how important the community is to what they're doing, how you can have a voice if you reach out, and that is 100% true. What I love about the space is that when someone says that, they mean it, right? Like I
Mm-hmm.
snuck into Roham's DMs and I asked a question and he responded immediately. So it's one of those things where you can see when a project is being managed well. You've got the top dog, right? He's out here talking about his project every day. He's tweeting about it. He's talking about his community, how important that community is. They actually did a virtual conference, I think, last week or the week before.
Mm-hmm.
And the first panel they had was the importance of community. So obviously, like that's a big thing for them, and you guys know that's where I come from, right? So yeah, flow is going to be big. I can't wait. I also saw
Mm-hmm.
they said something about trying to get NFL, so
Yep.
that might be a thing at some point too.
Yeah, I'm interested in the metaverse creation. I feel like metaverses and having a native metaverse to the protocol is important, just like in general. I know they partnered with Animoca Brands recently to bring some games over to Flow. I asked Yatsui about that on our podcast interview, the Layer 1 interviews. He was very open to the interoperability aspect. I don't think it's like the thing where we can say, oh, Animoca kind of has a huge stake, almost owns Sandbox. Will we see Sandbox on Flow? I was trying to get that out of him, but he didn't. He was pretty mum on that. But guys, I do want to point out one thing here. We have someone was asking about the website. Okay, onflow.org is the website for the Flow project. The first thing right here, the like very small text, Flow crypto token is not available on Uniswap. And I had some people kind of DMing me. I got kind of lit up by the guys in our investment chat and kind of some of our guys that I'm closer to that are trading on a consistent basis. Flow is not an ERC20 token, first of all. So let's just get it out of the way. There's no way it could be on Uniswap because it's not ERC20. But what we did have was, I think, a little rug pull action. I'm going to pull it up on the screen, and Buffalo is going to kind of show it. So I had someone kind of reach out and say, "Hey, look, Flow's at $6," and I was like, "Wait a second, what's going on here?" $6
Yeah,
is like almost 60x, right? Like I was obviously very cautious, but also super excited. But then you go to the actual site. They have the onflow.org website. So it is an attempt, it looks like here, to create a fake token. Obviously, if you use Dex tools, this is just going to pull all the information from Uniswap. It looks like there was a bunch of transactions and people were buying and selling this token. You can see 141 trades before it looks like on October 2nd, trading was stopped, meaning the liquidity was pulled from that actual pool. So some people got rugged here on a fake token. So always be careful. It looks like they have, again, that disclaimer there. But yeah, some people were buying and selling. And again, like the argument could be made, this is maybe wash trading, and only a couple people got pulled. But yeah, always stay vigilant out there, guys. That was a fake Flow token that made its rounds.
yeah.
Mainnet is coming. Most of the tokens that were sold in the community sale and this Coinlist auction are going to be locked up for 12 to 24 months. So just
Wow.
keep that in mind.
Yeah, yeah, I did see the thing about being on Uniswap, and that was pretty unfortunate. And that's the thing that sucks about the space, right? Like it's just that there's so much like a wild west, and there's so many people that are just kind of like, let's see how much money I can scam out of people today.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many new people getting into the space, you don't know enough about how it works. You don't know that people can go on CoinGecko and get a token listed that's literally got the name of something that has nothing to do with who's putting it out there and
Yep.
make money from it, right? Like just this morning, actually, this was kind of crazy. Just this morning, I went on Rarible because that's like one of the first things I do. I always check out like new art and shit. But I went on Rarible, and BitBoy is putting out some BitBoy cards, and they're
Mm-hmm.
really dope cards, right? So BitBoy put out a new card this morning, and three like releases later, right? So you know how like it's a live stream when you first go to Rarible. So
Mm-hmm.
actually, let's see if it's still there. This would actually be like really good to see, because basically what I'm getting at is someone went to Rarible, and right after he posted the actual the actual NFT itself that he put out,
Mm-hmm.
they ended up copying it and putting it out themselves. And then they put out multiple other ones, okay, that he's done. So you ended up with like 3 cards that look like they were Bitwaves, the new card that he just tweeted about, and it was 2 other cards, but they were
Mm-hmm.
significantly higher in price. Hopefully, okay. I found one, but I'm trying to see if there's more. Hopefully, Buffalo's not on my screen at the moment because there's a whole lot of
It
ass and
definitely
titties.
is.
Okay. YouTube, I'm sorry. This it's art, right? So we're okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? Okay, so I can't find the one, but there was literally 3 of them. But you can see here, this is not a verified account. This is a BitBoy card that BitBoy produced, and somebody went in here, copied it, copy paste, right, and put it in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate how often this happens, but thankfully you can report it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely one
So
of those things that
so
happens all over the place, and you just do your research.
yeah, this has to come down to the actual company, right? We talked about verification of NFTs. I think we had like a really in-depth rabbit hole discussion on verification of NFTs. It comes down to the actual, platforms themselves. There should be some like AI that they can implement so that if a painting looks exactly the same from a separate account, you have the ability to maybe, catch that ahead of time, make sure nobody gets rugged that way. But there also is the
Yeah,
ability here to have, I think, a third party come in and have some type of verification process where they have like a literal NFT that's associated with the NFT. I know that's kind of meta, but if you have a third party say, "Hey, we're the ones that are authenticating," that's what you have with
hmm,
collectibles today. If you
right.
have a sports card or a Pokemon card and you want to get it checked out and you want to see like what it's worth, you send it into a third party, they send it back with the actual verification. That doesn't exist in NFT land today. I think that will exist in the future.
100%. There's going to be people who they will go through an authentication process, and then I think that's actually an excellent idea. You attach an NFT, somehow, or you use something like Scribed, right? That you can actually
Mm-hmm.
attach a note to the physical NFT, and then you make it to where it's very clear that this is a real product. It's something we're going to have to deal with. That idea of maybe you have like a AI scan it and see if it gets like more than 2 or 3 hits on the internet, like if it gets 1,000, then it should probably go into like a holding pattern. I'm not saying that it instantly gets denied or, but at least put it in a holding pattern and have somebody whose job is to like just double check this stuff, or
Mm-hmm.
hire somebody to sit in front of, the main page, the main feed, and watch the marketplace, because it's super apparent for some of these, right? That they're literally
Mm-hmm.
taking something that just dropped, they're posting it, they're putting it up for less, or they're putting up for more, and they're making money off of it. But if you've got an employee who's sitting here watching everything that drops, then they should be able to catch this stuff. And you know, I got into it with some people on Twitter because they're like, we don't need authentication. You don't have to have verified only accounts, and I get
Mm-hmm.
that. And you want a place like Rarible where people can just share art, but at the same time, you don't want your customers getting shafted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and at the end of the day, like the authenticity is what makes NFTs like important and why they're game changing. So, it's growing pains. This happens with
Yeah.
everything. Somebody tried to make a point that like real art, this doesn't happen. And I'm like, do you not understand that we're at a point in history where there are people who can literally go and stroke for stroke recreate the Mona Lisa, and you would
Mm-hmm.
never know that it wasn't the original? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so, I
Without
mean,
the
even
verification. Yep.
without the verification, and even like the people who their job is to verify this stuff, right? Like I think I read that I think it's Picasso, like his family is the only people who can verify a true authentic Picasso. And I may be wrong, it may be another artist, but that's the first one that comes to mind. But
Mm-hmm.
basically what it is the family's the only ones who can authenticate it, and they've even come out and said that they've actually like authenticated one, if not more, that were actually
Mm-hmm.
fake. So
Mm-hmm.
it's it's
Yeah.
a problem that people have, and it's something that will probably exist forever. We're just gonna have to do our best as like a community to like make it, bring it to the forefront, make sure that these companies are held responsible, and they're at least making strides to keep this from happening to everybody.
Yeah, it's an interesting debate. And what you have with crypto is a lot of self sovereign individuals, usually, especially like the early adopters are usually self sovereign individuals. And those people will likely go out of their way to say, hey, we don't need all of these third parties. You should do the research yourself, DYOR, do your own research. But the problem with that is like most people that the mass adoption comes when that curve spikes, right? And you cross that chasm and you get into these large amounts of people, but most of the majority there is not going to be doing the amount of research that the self-sovereign individuals will be doing. So you need some type of thing like you're talking about, Ronin, where you have to have some type of certification, and that's happening either the platform or the third party certification service. That could be a business model, as Bruno pointed out. It's funny, man. Like we were at ICO Alert in 2017 and dealing with this exact same thing. Do we list all the ICOs? How do we make sure it's not a scam? We went out of our way to piece by piece go into these projects and deny some of them and not
Mhm.
have some of them. We could have easily just listed all of them. So that is the same kind of situation that's going on here with NFTs, where they almost have to figure out a way to authenticate people that are on their platform. It's that simple. So
Yep.
tough
Yep.
stuff.
And the thing, yeah, exactly. And that's what I think the most important thing that you said is the fact that this is like for mass adoption, like
Hmm.
that needs to be, we need to have something right before, like, I mean, we're already getting tons of people who are getting tricked by this. And these are people who, I mean, I even saw, what was it, Pranksy, I think,
Hmm.
almost purchased like a fake. And that's somebody
Got it.
who's been in the space since NFTs started, right? So I think that we've got to approach that. We got to make sure that it's a talking point, and we continue to do that.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so I want to kind of wrap the bow on this because we were on this for a while now.
Yeah.
Coinlist actually tweeted this out after the actual auction. So what you have here is 50% of the actual tokens were bid at $1, meaning that because it's a reverse auction, and I'm not going to get into the reverse auction because I don't want to make myself sound ignorant here, but a 50% of the actual bids were placed at $1, and then the actual price went down to 38 cents. So everybody gets it at 38 cents. There were 700 people that are associated with this coin list. Again, the settlement price was 38 cents, 9.5 million raised. Looks like 12K participants over the entire auction process, not just this one, but the pre-seed, the community sale before this one. So definitely a big news from Coinlist and a big news for Flow. I think they blew Coinlist previous participation records out of the water. So speaking of records as well, we kind of rubbed up against 45 there. We had 43 for a second. So guys, make sure you're bringing people in. If we hit 46, we will be dropping extra lads to everybody in. So make sure you're getting your second monitors up and going.
Yep. Yep. So I'm trying to see if there's anything that we should touch on as far as chat goes. Obliterate the like button. Ari says we appreciate that, buddy. Easy in Crypto says that hella art gets fakes for thousands of years. So it's
Mm-hmm.
something we've always dealt with, and was something we're always going to continue to deal with. But yeah, it's definitely we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
100%. So we've
So
got
mhm.
OpenSea, we've got Ethereum NFT market overview, but Buffalo's got a special surprise for some of us today, and it's a surprise to us too. He said something about
Yeah.
it being NFTLive related, but I didn't want to show you guys beforehand. I want your organic reaction. I don't even know what this is going to be about. So, Buff, you might want to come in here and do what you're going to do.
Yeah, let's do what I'm gonna do. First of all, great comments, you guys. I am loving these lads' comments. You guys are just crushing it. It helps the flow of the show. It really kind of gives both Q, Rona, and myself kind of feedback on the topics, questions maybe we're not talking about the topic. So keep that coming. I'll make you famous if you got a good comment. Speaking of famous, NFTLive is growing, you guys. The lads community is growing, and put a little video here together to show you guys. Um, Essentially, well, it's been a journey. This is my fifth episode, I believe, working with you guys since coming on board, and we've changed some things. And essentially, yeah, just take a look. NFTLive has started to make some recent upgrades, and the lads community has taken notice. And now the corporate fat cats are studying our style, trying to figure out our secret sauce. While at home, mothers and daughters can enjoy a nice wholesome meal with a side of NFTLive. And even the gamers are starting to take notice and tuning in.
And Buffalo were awesome today. The whale community, thank you guys for being there. You guys pushed our all-time high numbers through the roof. For the regular episodes.
As you see, it's everywhere now. NFTLive is everywhere, guys. There's no stopping us.
Times Square, baby.
I know. Can you imagine that?
Guys, we
didn't
made it.
Hey, we made it. We've
Can I-
gone viral.
Can I get a hashtag Buffalo in the chat for everything that he just put together? Good Lord, that was awesome. The Rainbow
Absolutely.
Six at the end.
Dude, the
Good
end part
Lord.
is money, man. The first time, so that was really like the clip that he shared with me at one point. And dude, the end part was so loud the first time because they like bust through and they start shooting. And I was like, dude, that blew my eardrums. But it was, dude, I couldn't stop laughing. It was so funny. I think you, dude, excellent job. We really appreciate everything you're doing for us, man. It's you know, it's brought us to another level that I don't think anybody is even getting close to right now. And then when we start producing this extra content, like we're going places. I'm super excited what we got coming.
I love it. I have fun with this, you guys. The more time that we get to work together, I mean, I feel like a little kid again. I just love this space. I love just having fun. I love videos too. So, I mean, there's going to be plenty more videos, you guys. And honestly, I love green screen. So all three of us are going to be hooked up with green screen pretty soon. So eventually my nice backdrop here of my closet and my basic bedroom is going to go away. And who knows, I'll be floating in the ether.
Dude, we're gonna 100% do the green screen, and Buffalo's gonna kill it with that. I did want to point out one thing, Buff. One thing that we wanted to add as we go forward too is a hype reel whenever somebody donates, and it looks like Cian Dafe, or I don't know if I messed that up completely, donated €5. I believe that's a euro sign. Maybe I'm just
thank you
ignorant.
so much.
Is that pounds? I don't. Yeah. So, hi guys, where's the best place to sell hyperrealism pencil art as an NFT, and should I include the original? Thank you very much.
I'd probably say you're gonna want to like, well, you know, like super rare. You have to have like a process, right? You know, you maybe try to get in with like Nifty. I think that like when it comes to the art marketplaces, the best thing you can do for yourself is feel them out, right? Like go and spend some time in their ecosystem, check out like their Twitter, find out the type of people that are you know, going and collecting from that platform. And I would say my personal opinion is anytime an artist does a digiphysical like situation where they sell the NFT, but they also will send the owner the physical piece of art, I think it's excellent. And I think that just adds more value. And if it's going to be your first piece that you put out there, I think that's how like you want to market. Like you really want to put it out there that like you're doing this, and they will get the physical piece, you know, put it in a nice frame. And I would say Twitter all day.
Amazing. Guys, we just hit, and I believe we just touched on an all-time high. If we can get 46, Buffalo's going to run the reel back. If we can do that, Buff, that's what we're doing. I want to see it one more time. I want 46. Oh, we just went down to 44. We are volatile on this channel.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Loadmasters Rock says in group, he says Whale have an art group. That's awesome. That is awesome. That the Whale is all over the place, man. What doesn't Whale have, right? Easy says gotta have that secret sauce. Follow, thumbs
100%.
up. We appreciate it, guys. And one last time, if you hit the like button, it helps so much. If you subscribe to the channel, it helps so much. All these things are just gonna help put us in front of more eyes, get more people in here, get more lads dropped when we crest our all-time high from the previous episode, and then also allow us to bring you guys more content. The goal here is that we would love to get to a point where we are producing content full-time, and we're just covering everything in the NFT space. So it all helps, and you guys are helping us get to that goal much faster than I think Q thought was going to happen, and I thought was going to happen when I joined. So yeah, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you guys.
We do, and I think I'm not going to talk on that because Ronin just encapsulated all of my thoughts right there. So we're at 44. The guys in Whale are saying that they're adding 25 to us. We do that. We might want to work with somebody from Whale to actually kind of tell us
46
the total that they had. Oh, we hit 46. Roll it.
46.
I'm done. Roll it, Buff. Roll it. Roll it.
NFTLive has started to make some recent upgrades, and the lads community has taken notice. And now the corporate fat cats are studying our style, trying to figure out our secret sauce. While at home, mothers and daughters can enjoy a nice wholesome meal with a side of NFTLive. And even the gamers are starting to take notice and tuning in.
And Buffalo were awesome today. The whale community, thank you guys for being there. You guys pushed our all-time high numbers through the roof from regular
Yeah. I love it. I love it so much.
Great job again, Buff. You're killing it. I cannot wait. I mean, that we're gonna look back on that piece and just like it's gonna be in the record. We might make that an NFT. Who knows? But we'll see what we can do. But that is the first ever kind of like pre-roll that we're running with on NFTLive. So this is awesome stuff. Yeah, I mean, we touched on so much stuff. Like, we need to get back to the episode, but thank you so much again, Buff, for kind of adding that into the channel there. We got a ton of comments coming through. Again, we want to work with you guys probably at Buff and a Whale, and try to figure out what we can add to the all-time high, because we are factoring in there as well that there was or we weren't factoring in. We're only looking at YouTube, basically. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Buffalo's making me crazy. We're only looking at YouTube as far as like that all-time high. We have had the whale guys come in, but I don't think we've added that into the all-time high before. If you're getting my drift, can you kind of save me here, Ronin?
Basically, we've not considered that into the all-time high. Unfortunately, like we don't, metric-wise, like it helps tremendously. Okay, to have us being mirrored on the whale Discord, because it gets us in front of more people. We are part of the community. I am a dolphin this month, so I went all in on whale. And I think that the main point there is obviously the metrics from Discord don't carry over to YouTube. So if you guys are watching in whale, even if you could just pull up the YouTube, click the like button real quick, it helps just on YouTube. That's how we're going to get viewed more. That's how we're going to get put in front of more eyes. That's how the algorithm is going to, suggest our channel when we're live, and those types of things. So if you spend just a half a second, jump on here, like it, subscribe, leave a comment, all of that is going to help our metrics tremendously. I think at some point we'll be able to maybe work out something to where, we can include those metrics. I think that when it comes to, future business, right? Like we can definitely include that in numbers, but I think that when it comes to the algorithm itself, getting in front of more faces, being part of the ecosystem of YouTube, everything that happens on their platform is what is going to push us further there. So yeah, we do appreciate being on whale. I make sure I ask every week, like, hey, is it cool if you guys mirror us? Because we appreciate the support. The energy that whale brings to us is amazing. So we thank you guys for that.
Yeah, 100%.
But we have so much to talk about.
We do have so much to talk about. I am getting to it with the comments are kind of lit right now. Honestly, we want to shout out again to Cian Dafe. He said, "Thanks guys, you're awesome." Subbed, and he donated another £5. I saved myself. I am an American, so clearly I'm geographically ignorant and pretty much politically ignorant, because I didn't know that initially. I called it a euro. Obviously, I saved myself a little bit with calling it a pound, but I said euro first, so shame on me. But thank you again for the £5. We've got a ton of comments. Thank you guys so much. I believe our all-time high on a sale day episode with the whale guys is like over 100. So we appreciate the whale. Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't remember which sale it was. I think maybe it was the COG sale. But there was one sale, man, where whale showed up huge. They had like 60 people in chat there. We had like over 60 people in YouTube. So yeah, sales day is always a big day for us. But when you include the whale numbers, man, it puts us twice as much pretty much every week. Every time we broadcast, we've got twice as much people than we have live here. They've got just as many over there on the Discord. So yeah, we definitely appreciate that very, very much.
Yep. So I think
okay, real quick.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to real quick. I was going to say thank you to Easy, thank you to Loadmasters for sharing those links. We really appreciate that, guys. The support's amazing.
100%. So we did hit all time high there, 46, 47, I believe. We'll go back post episode and make sure to record that. But that's not for sale day. Obviously, sale days, like you said, are crazy. But this is awesome. All time highs for NFTLive. Everybody's going to get dropped extra lads if you have a roll wallet. So that's awesome, man. All right. Goddamn. Let's get to the rest of the episode.
I'm looking. We covered the first 3 topics of like 12, man.
100%. So we're going to hit OpenSea and the NFT market in the Ethereum ecosystem as an overview. And then we'll get into some of the last few stories, including meme. I see a don't buy meme in the chat there. So let's hit OpenSea and let's hit this Ethereum market overview, and we'll move on. Thanks, guys.
Yep. So I'll run through OpenSea real quick. It's not like anything too crazy, but they did have a website refresh. They have added quite a bit of usability, right? So the first tweet basically just says that they've added price histories, they've added order books, they've added moderation tools, and full screen art. I think full screen art is really dope, and I was kind of curious why nobody was doing that before. And then I think obviously price histories is super big. The fact that you can see price histories on Atomic assets with the Wax product is really helpful. You get a good sense of what these products have sold for, what other products that are like them sell for, especially when you break into the collectible side of things. The order books is really cool. It's a nice upgrade, and I think that includes a lot of things that people have been asking for a while. So it's definitely very useful. The order book, if you don't know, is basically you can see offers and listings for an item, and it's like in a simplified view. So that's super nice. They've got that. Some other platforms, OpenSea is implementing it, and I think everybody here knows OpenSea is like one of the first big marketplaces, and they're just going to continue to push things forward. And most of us are probably wondering when OpenSea token, right?
Yes. I was literally just about to ask that. When OpenSea token, they're going to launch that at one point. I'd be super surprised if they didn't, but they did survive that initial kind of heat from Rarible, I believe, with that Rari token being kind of distributed. That was a very Uniswap sushi esque type of token launch where Rarible was trying to take some of OpenSea's market share by offering that token. OpenSea's still around. They're going to continue being a big player. This was big.
Yes.
I mean, you need price history in order to track these more efficiently. I don't know which part to touch on here, but the fractional NFTs are interesting because if they get introduced into OpenSea, what you can essentially start to have with fractional NFTs, if people are trading even small portions of NFTs, what you can start to have is like a live feed of what these value or what these NFTs are valued at in whole. So if you think about it right now, NFTs really can't be, I guess, actively tracked, right? You kind of have to go back, almost like we're doing with Wax, but you could also take this into Decentraland, into crypto voxels. You could say, well, what is this worth? I have to look at the kind of entire market for what's going on here. With, I guess, like what was the last one sold for? What was the height of that? If you're talking about Decentraland land or crypto voxels, what you do with fractional NFTs is actually have a live value because they're being traded in smaller amounts. People will probably more actively trade them. Bots will pick it up. Obviously, bots aren't a big thing when you're trying to purchase, $2,000 worth of land and everything's non-fungible. So when everything's small in smaller amounts, you can have the ability to have that live valuation feed, right? Because you take that full, percentage of what that small fractional NFT is worth, and then you extrapolate it out to 100% of the whole item, and then you could get that live feed. So literally, you could have crypto voxels land just like boom, like up and down, up and down, up and down, kind of moving axes the same way. You can have a live valuation feed of what's going on with these NFTs. So I enjoy that.
Absolutely. I think that it's always good when you can see numbers, right? And especially like in this space where they're just continuing to grow. And it's one of those things that you wake up every morning and you're like, oh shit, this is, it's another big day for NFTs. Like, when is it not a big day for NFTs? But it's nice to see the space growing. I'm going to hit a couple of, it's been a minute since we checked in with chat. I do want to say thank you so much. Easy in Crypto is dropping links left and right. He's telling people they got to smash the like button. I appreciate that. Bruno says, and this hits my heart, man. He says, let's start this show. You are the best. He said, it's so down to earth and it's like being among friends. I think Ari said it best when he said, your vibe is your tribe. And I think that may end up becoming our unofficial motto, or maybe becomes an official motto if Ari doesn't mind. But I really think that we put out a good energy, man, and we try to be positive, and we love the space, and we're passionate about what's going on, and we really just want to bring you guys some content that you want to engage with, right? Like, and we appreciate that, and then so we appreciate you guys pointing it out, and that you appreciate it as well. Village Cooking says, apart from insurance and collectibles, are there any other types of NFTs? Absolutely. There's, I mean, you get into like DeFi, and then you get into dang it, my mind just went totally blank. There's insurance.
Yeah.
There's they're even like doing it with like identification, I think, verification. I mean, dude, it's really, the use case is just unlimited. I mean, I think
Mm,
I imagine like one day, like, right, you can't have your ID, your, you know, your state license, right? You can't have that on a phone and show it to a police officer, you know, if you get pulled over or
mm,
something, or, you know, going into some place, because you can just copy and screenshot, right? Imagine we get to a point where that is actually attached to an NFT, and that NFT is actually living on your phone. So you can actually show identification that is verifiable, right? I
mm,
think that that is the future. I think that we're going to get to a point where everything is digital. We're not going to need to carry around paper. We're not going to need to carry around a bunch of physical cards. I mean, we're already there, right? Like if I forget my
mm.
wallet at home, which I've done many a time, it used to be like I got to drive all the way back home to get my wallet so I can pay for what the heck I just tried to walk out of the store with, right? Now I take my phone out of my pocket and I scan my phone at the register. And I'm like, it's no big deal, right? Because my credit
Mhm.
card's on my phone. So that's where we're going. And I think that people who have like a problem understanding NFTs and the use case don't understand that that's where the world's moving. They're probably the same type of people that are like, I don't want a Kindle because I like to smell books, right? But if you
Mhm.
get a Kindle in a book lover's hand, they will never go back to physical books, because being able to carry
Mhm.
around 1,000 books in one flimsy half a pound digital device that you can look at night, you can look at it in the day, you can look at it in the sun, you can take it, it's waterproof, you can sit in your bath and not worry. These are reasons why digital trumps physical in a lot of ways. So I think I don't think NFT's got anything to worry about. The use case is there, and we're going to continue to push this forward.
Yeah, I think a lot of things will become NFT. We said this about crypto a lot, but a lot of things that will become crypto won't be called crypto. They'll just be normal things, right? Like the normal user will
So
just like say, "Oh, that's, that's my home license. That's the license that I have for my car." But these things will actually be NFTs. And that's, I think, the way that you should look at it. Like everything will eventually be tokenized. Therefore, things
mhm.
that have original and unique metadata are known as non-fungible tokens. They can't be, I can't switch my license with my, my buddy's license, my as far as his home or car license. Like those are actually digitally unique, or at least will be, and therefore they're
Mhm.
non-fungible tokens. So I think I look at licenses. I think that as far as home license, car license, all of these different things that are now handled by usually in physical form, but they're obviously moving to digital. I think those will be tokenized. I think event coordinations can be tokenized. Tickets to events can be tokenized. I think that's a lot of things where I'm looking at with NFTs, but it's certainly fun. And we talk about, what do we talk about? We talk about collectibles for the most part
Yeah.
on NFTLive. We hit that a lot because they're fun, obviously, and they unlike licenses, those are actually
Fun to
actively
talk about.
traded and you can swap. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Well, it's
it's
like,
it's
we
interesting.
see like a big boom right now. Like people are starting to move towards like, how do we use this in music, right? So
Mm,
there's a DJ, RAC, right? He puts out excellent music. If you guys don't know RAC, definitely check him out. But he's on
mm,
Twitter, and he actually has been talking about NFTs for a while. And he has a social token. I think it's Tape, TAPE.
mm,
And he kind of gets it, right? And he's been putting out some tweets, and I kind of hopped into his Twitter or his Twitch stream one night, because he streams once or twice a week. And I think he is really, really trying to put something together that will allow artists to create NFTs and kind of go back in business for themselves, make their own money. They don't have to go through,
mm.
all these labels where they're getting 3% of profit that is 100% their work, right? So I definitely think it's going to change the world. I think there's a lot of use case. I know that for a fact. You mentioned tickets. I know that they ran a ticket event in like Costa Rica or something. I remember
Hmm.
reading about it 2 or 3 months ago. That was all the tickets were NFTs. All you had to do was like load them up on like your phone or something, I think it said, and that was how you got into the event. So it's coming.
100%. So that was kind of a deep discussion. I see the meme fams kind of coming in here. I think somebody dropped the link into the meme Telegram channel. So hello
Yes.
to all the meme fam. Don't buy meme. That's the first thing we need to kind of get off of the table there. We'll touch on meme here in a second. We do have some. I think I at least on the channel. I'm a collector of meme. I think I've got Ronin and Buff on the train a little bit, but I'll be showing some of that off here in a second. Buff did show the NFT market overview. It looks like a Twitter profile called Crypto Defer kind of came out with this tweet here talking about and what they called the NFT market overview. So they got a little shit as you see in the Telegram thread here, everyone's like, why the hell isn't Wax P on here? Why isn't EOS on here? Why isn't so they got a little shit for saying that, rightfully so, right? They don't even have Flow on here or anything like that. Like NBA Top Shot has done, I think, probably 3 million at this point. But anyways, you have kind of an overview of what I would call the Ethereum ecosystem as far as NFTs are concerned. You see Decentraland there kind of topping the list with the all-time volume. The actual all-time sales, meaning probably the transactions on CryptoKitties, are, I think, in the vicinity of almost 3 million. So definitely some good data here. I think what Crypto Deferred did was literally just take data from non-fungibles and like make it really nice. So shout out to
And
the
made it look
non-fungible
pretty.
guys too. Yeah. So shout
Yeah,
out to
yeah.
the non-fungible
Non-fungibles does
guys.
so
I like,
much, man.
what's that?
I said non-fungibles does so much as far as like the putting out this data, right? Like if you follow the
Mm-hmm.
non-fungibles account on Twitter, like it's a really good account to follow if you're into data, right? Just numbers, like seeing these numbers grow and where all these projects are currently at. It's an excellent read.
Yeah, we had Gautier Zapinier. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. Not don't have that French dialect there, but we had Gautier on the podcast. I think like one of our first three on Layer One. So if you go back into the channel, you can go back all the way, back to 2019, and we had him on the podcast, man. And it's amazing where NFTs have come from, or like just come from, and now have come to. Just there was not that much interest in that interview. Let's just be honest. And like one of the best teams in NFTs is non-fungibles, and literally not much interest. And now, kind of what we were talking about then, we're kind of being validated with now. So
Yeah,
crazy.
yep. Awesome. Just so we can, because I know we're trying to keep track of the all-time highs. We hit 56, so that's awesome. That's
I saw
awesome. Thank you guys so
58.
much. Thank you, Meme. You saw 58? Yeah. That's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. We're crushing it, dude. Thank you guys for that. We appreciate it. I think that like man, this space moves so fast, right? Like one
Mm-hmm.
day people are not interested in something and then the next day they want all in. So not surprised.
Yeah, 100%. One of the big things that we're not going to touch on today, but has been the rise of Fuocious. She's been absolutely killing it.
I
I think she
love
got
you.
like trending on Reddit actually. So
Did
we don't
she?
have this. Yeah,
I love you. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna drop a little preview, right? Like we're definitely having her on for an interview. And I may put together a little something with her in VR. So we've been
Mm.
talking about VR and DMs. She just got herself a VR set a couple weeks ago. So yeah, she's awesome. She's only 17 years old and she's making so much money, dude. She's making like 10 grand while she's sitting in geography class. You know what I mean? She's an
Yeah.
excellent story. She's the most down to earth person that I have ever seen on the
Mm.
internet. She's just very wholesome, and I think that Fuse got a future ahead of her. And if you watch any of her interviews, they're awesome. I know that the whale community is familiar because she just did an interview with them earlier in the week. She did a
Mm.
VR live Insomnium Space yesterday, which was really cool. She's all over the place because she's so much fun, man. She's so much fun.
It couldn't have happened to a better person. I saw that she
Absolutely not.
responded to Jason Williams, who's I believe at Morgan Creek with Pomp, because they've like really been backing her, and she like went into kind of her background, and it's crazy, man. Like
Yeah.
everybody has different backgrounds, and I'm happy to see her be successful. So we're at 54. We hit 58. We appreciate everybody. Mike Scott is in the house. Mike, you are not getting invited tonight to game night for
I
Among
blocked
Us.
him on
I'm
Discord.
sorry. Yeah, just block him everywhere. No, we're just
I
kidding, Mike.
blocked
Can't
him.
wait to see you later tonight. Shout out to the APAC guys that are watching this at like 2 a.m. Their
Oh
time.
man.
So we appreciate you guys. Shout out to everybody. Let's get into the rest of this episode, guys. We've got the pilgrimage, which Ronan's going to touch on here. I've got all the meme news that you can ever handle, and then Rareable as well launching into Decentraland. I think Bruce the Goose talked about something that we'll hit on here, but we're just going to hit on the rest of the news here. Let's start with the pilgrimage.
Yep, yep. So, okay, what is the pilgrimage, right? Like, the pilgrimage is something that I came across on Twitter. It is by a gentleman by the name of Fabine, I believe. And pretty much what he has done is he has taken these little 3D models that he created in, using like AR, and then he dropped these in multiple museums across the world. Okay, so these are physical pieces that you actually have to visit and capture using like the AR app to be able to collect them. So
Mm.
I think there's only one or two in the United States. One's in New York. I don't remember where the other one is. I know there's one in Mexico. I'll pull up the map here in a second. But this, he's showing how many have been collected. So there's three more still, or no, three have. Has anyone seen those three? Yep. So three are still out there. I'm not sure exactly where those three, but you can see here, like he literally like took these things, dropped them into the meta or the AR. I don't know, what would you call that? Like just the AR layer of reality, I guess. And yeah, so like you can go and then you capture it and you own the NFT forever, and that piece will always be at the museum, which I think is really really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So in the future, someone comes into the museum, they've got an AR app, they know it's there, they can view your like work that you own inside a museum, which is just, I mean, this is why NFTs are so exciting to me.
Yeah, I think I'm more of a VR guy myself. I think augmented reality has a purpose. Specifically, I like their use case for like companies and restaurants and different like retail stores. I think that you
Mhm.
could get people to go to a physical location if, like you're saying, there's a really cool art piece or there's a ticket or there's something valuable at the location. I like AR for that reason of being able to get
Absolutely.
people into a location, into a hotspot. I'm more of a VR guy myself. So AR, like it just doesn't
AR, I
do
think
it for
AR
me,
breaks
like
that. I think AR will break that barrier when it's implemented in like your straight up site, right? Like you get a pair of AR glasses, or eventually you'll just put in some contacts and you'll have the AR layer of the world. And we're getting there. Like we're gonna get there. They've already shown that they've been able to put technology into contacts. Okay, so
hmm.
eventually we'll get there. So imagine like, I don't know if you saw any
Okay.
of the Google Glass teaser videos when that first came out, and like what AR will eventually be. But I mean, imagine like putting in, you're walking to X place and you've got your glasses on, and it literally just drops that arrow, right? Like go this way and you get in the street and you've got the left
I've seen
arrow.
that.
Yeah, dude. So I think that like it's just super exciting. And I think this is really cool in the fact that like, I mean, as far as I know, this is the first time anybody's done that. So like you literally can get this NFT for free. It's a AR piece that's gonna live forever in this location. So
Hmm.
really dope.
Yeah, Mike Scott saying Black Mirror incoming. I think, hmm, based on what you were saying, there's basically going to be three layers now. Because I wasn't as bullish on the AR until you explained that literally what it's doing is creating VR in the real world. When you
Mhm.
put on those glasses, and it's not just through your phone. I think the seeing, that I don't want to call it a metaverse, but seeing like what you were saying, that AR layer
Layer, yeah.
through your phone is way different than actually putting on contacts. And now the real world is AR. I could see that. You just made me a believer a little bit. I still like to differentiate a little bit. Whenever I'm in the real world, I want to be in the real world. Not just like I Black Mirror is the best way to put it. So yeah,
Yeah.
man, great story there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Cool.
So yeah, I guess we got meme and Rarible. You want to touch on that, and then we can kind of wrap up the other stuff next week, maybe, or something.
Yeah, 100%.
Just like
We
six more
can
topics.
yeah, so we have the meme guys in the chat here. They first of all, guys, you're talking to one of the crash test owners, the original 10. I ended up selling because I got weak hands. But we have the meme platform here. They did drop a bunch of different, obviously, I guess announcements over the past probably day, 2 days. They had that event series that launched. So like we were talking about event tickets where you can stake meme and get an event ticket. I didn't actually attend Blockchain Summit, but I like the idea there. We'll see what they actually do with NFTs and in ticketing. I think that's a really cool idea. We've talked about that ad nauseum a little bit. We have the artist series drop. There was an auction. So this is one thing that among the meme community and among the outside community that has kind of been observing this crazy experiment. The detractors have been saying it's hard for people to get in and they don't know about it. And you guys kind of just drop an artist piece. And if I don't have Telegram notifications on, I don't know what to do. So they've been mixing a little bit of what they're doing and kind of, I guess, innovating is probably the right word, but they added this auction piece. So along with what they did with this artist series, which I like, and I'm not gonna sit on here and kind of get back at the detractors here, but they're basically offering a Nifty Gateway style artist series by having their token. So they're offering exclusive access. So I don't really get where people are coming from. But in order to kind of maybe make this more democratic, they're doing an auction where you can actually, over a large period of time, you can, try to get a piece based on just that auction piece, as opposed to kind of trying to be first in staking and then get outbid essentially and all that stuff. So they did that, but more so I want to go over what they dropped in the Genesis and LP pools. They've been kind of dropping some of these rare mints and just like Genesis mints here. I want to go down to what they launched, which was a Halloween series that they launched with Stanny and Aave. So going back to this tweet here, I just touched on that auction series. I'm also going to go down to the series that they ran for October. Sorry, I couldn't find Steven in your Let's see if we can't get into this. So basically what they launched was Stanny here. They had Stanny as well on a couple different ones, different rarities, different kind of looks. They also dropped one into the LP pool as well. I can go back up and check that out. But yeah, that's pretty much the story from Meme. The only other one that I have to touch on is probably Decentraland. But yeah, cool series. What did you think about this drop? Ooh. Did I lose you?
Oh, yeah, Ronin,
There
you're
you go.
muted there. But
Let's try that again. Sorry, the baby's in the background. Yeah, no, I think that like what they're doing is really cool. I think that obviously they've got like this certain like vibe, right, about like what they're doing and with their branding and the art and kind of obviously the farming aspect is something that everybody is really into. I think it's excellent. You know what I mean? It makes sense from a holding standpoint, right? You want some people to like hold, and so it brings value. And I think that yeah, man, memes killing it.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And I like the idea, again, of offering exclusive access. But the fact that they're doing like these themed different drops is interesting to me. I actually minted one of these, Nightmare on Aave Street. You can see standing there. But there are some as well. It looks like this rare one sold out, as well as this even, rarer one, which only had 10. So 10 and 100 were sold out. Looks like the one that was that had 1,000 supply is still there. So interesting stuff, man. I like what Meme is doing. I think they also announced that they're going to be having an HQ in Decentraland, which is really cool. I'm going to pull that up here in a second. Let me see if I can find the right one. Let's see. So based on this tweet, it looks like there's going to be a virtual HQ in Decentraland. The launch party is next week, Tuesday, October 13th. And it's going to be in Crypto Valley. I don't think that this has populated yet, but you can kind of get a look. It looks like a little SpongeBob action going on there, but they're going to have an HQ in Decentraland. I cannot wait to see all these different projects that are launching within these different metaverses, man. Really cool stuff. Yo, you're muted again.
Yeah, the metaverse is one of those things that like I've only really dipped my toes in, but I think that it's the next big thing, man, and the memes being there, and I think that this idea of like Crypto Valley is kind of cool. Bringing in actual like projects to come in and build some piece of land. I've heard that. I mean, Decentraland is to me it's the like the most, I don't know what you would say, like the cleanest experience. Obviously, I think CryptoVoxes is really cool, but Decentraland is really dope. And the idea that they're starting to bring in some companies and they've got this land and they can build on it, and so I definitely want to check out Meme that launches on the 13th.
Yeah, before we kind of go into Rarible as well, because they pulled up an HQ there, but it looks like this Stanny Legendary. I don't know, Buff, can you pull this up on the screen? It looks like one sold for 32 ETH. So
What?
these LB Genesis ones are going to be, so the way that you access this, guys, and I'm not going to go too far in, but if you supply liquidity on Uniswap for Meme, so I'm assuming the Meme ETH pool, you get access to an LP token that you can then stake. As you can see here, Universion 2 LP staked, and then you get access to these really, really rare, NFTs that are only found on Meme. Obviously, that's the same case here with the Genesis, as well as the artist, as well as the event series. But the LP series seems to be the most rare, and therefore, you saw the Andre one go for like 50 ETH, I believe. So some of these LP series pool NFTs are going for absolutely crazy stuff.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's a
So,
lot. Um,
mhm.
yeah.
You got it.
Yep. So yeah, I think that the meme, the LP token is really cool. I think that like it does get a little like confusing for people who are new. Like, how do I get into it? Like, what do I have to do? Right. Like, so I just learned about the LP tokens last night. Right. How they work, what you have to do. You're not just staking. Like, you're not just taking like your lads and putting it into a staking. What you're doing is you're actually having to match it with an equivalent ETH. Right. So like you put in 5 ETH, you got to put in whatever that's worth in meme to be able to be part of that liquidity pool. But what's cool about that is obviously is that it's providing liquidity, and that makes the token value go up, and you're being rewarded for that. So I think that we're going to see that more often. Obviously, we saw Coin is pretty much doing the same thing,
Mhm.
and I think that just like we talked about a few weeks ago with people kind of jumping on board with doing the farm for NFTs, we're going to see people doing the LP thing more and more as well.
Yeah, I cannot say enough about Jordan Lyle. We had him on the podcast like I believe a week ago now. So it is interesting to see. I've got CoinGecko pulled up. I've got the price of meme. It obviously ran up and had that like fervor up to like 2,000, and now it's trading around 307, which puts it at a market cap of about 6.6. Everything's circulating. It'll be interesting to see. I'm a believer in meme. I hold meme, obviously. I don't have the history there, but you guys are gonna have to take me at my word that I was able to get that crash test 10 of 10, and I was able to flip that for 5 meme there. So somebody took that off my hands. I mean, I've had nothing but a great experience with meme. It'll be interesting to see where they go forward, but I think they'll always have, that kind of like first mover advantage when it comes to that meme DeFi mashup.
Right.
So
Yep.
yeah,
Exactly.
so let's hit some
So
comments, guys. We're coming up to the end of the episode. We've got some other things to talk about, but I'll let Ronan kind of riff and see where we want to go.
yeah, I was just going to kind of touch on some chat. Eric Grot says, please mention that you can only use 5 meme at a time. This is one of the things
Mm,
that you brought up when you first were kind of telling me about meme that I thought was really cool because it kind of it gives everybody the chance, right? Like at the same stuff. You can only stake 5 meme or 5 ETH. For 5 ETH, you're going to get 5 pineapples,
5 meme,
right?
five
Or
meme.
5 meme. Yep. So then you can stake 5 meme, get pineapples, right? But that's the only way to get those pineapples. And then those pineapples can't be transferred. So, you're staking in the max and everyone has access to that. I mean, obviously it's not cheap for some people, 5 ETH is not a little amount of money.
Hmm.
But it does reward you for that. And I think that that is a really cool system. I think they do an excellent job with that. I think it was really smart to put that in. Yeah, obviously some people have like 50 wallets, so it's not a big deal, but they still can only farm the same as anyone else who has 5 because you can't transfer those pineapples to another account. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think that you touch on the majority of that there, and we'll get to some comments here. But I think that is a democratic method, and there's always going to be some trolls that come into the channel and they're like, "Man, I couldn't get this. Like this stuff sold out in 5 seconds." And I think that's just the wrong way to look at it. You're going to have
yeah.
ways to game almost any process. I think that
Mhm.
they're going to see Jordan and the team iterate a little bit on like what they're going to do with these releases. Obviously, having I think one of the things that came up in the meme chat that I was contributing to, but also other people were talking about, was the ability to have this artist series where you do have kind of these rare pieces that can only be found on meme, but then keeping some. I guess the way that I can kind of put this is like if you hide some of the pieces that will eventually be released in Sven series, then you might have a situation where a whale can come in and say, "Oh, I'm picking this up for 60 pineapples." But what happens again, as one of our listeners pointed out, you lose those pineapples. So someone after you might have the ability to hold on to that more times, and then the person who kind of went into this crash test and didn't know there was another one after that misses out. So I think it's super democratic, though. I know I'm kind of in the weeds on meme a little bit, but I like the product.
Yep, absolutely. I think they're doing really cool stuff, man. Yeah, I think
So
we covered meme pretty well.
yeah, we definitely hit meme pretty well, guys. We're coming up to the end of the episode here, so you can see us kind of fatiguing. We need to pull through this, but we had Meta Crypto. Meta Crypto is like one of the best lads or one of the oldest lads, definitely, but one of the best lads in the lads community. He's coming into NFTLive and saying, "How long will the NFT hype continue?" Can you believe this, man?
Yep, I saw that comment, somebody in chat actually responded and said NFT hype is just beginning, like it's just starting. I think like look, realistically speaking, like I do think like the hype, right, is gonna die down at some point. I don't think that it's gonna be like this thing that everybody's talking about all the time, regardless of if you're only in BTC world or only in ETH world or whatever. But I do think that we will get to a point where it's just this right, like everybody talked about cell phones for forever when they first came out, but like eventually it's just part of life, right? And I think that like NFTs will eventually just be integrated in so much that it's not going to be hype anymore. It's really just going to be implementation of a new technology that is where the players
Mm-hmm.
create all the modes and stuff, the play modes. And then Little Big Planet, anybody who's got like that type of like history in consoles, they're gonna be interested in this, and that's a pretty big majority, I think. And then when they get into it, they're gonna start being like, well, what does NFTs mean, and what does it mean that I
Mm-hmm.
own this, and how does that work? And so when they get into that, we're gonna see another, you know what I mean? So I think every time we get to like more mass adoption, we're gonna see more more hype during those peaks, right? But eventually it'll go back to a plateau and it'll just be normal news.
Yeah, DCL Blogger had an interview with Ivan on Tech, which I thought was a good. I thought he did a good job of representing NFTs, and he made the point that you're making now, which is that as kind of more people move in and more big money, we saw. I forgot which investment firm kind of took that Axie purchase of like 100K. But as we see more large purchases, that drives interest. Obviously, volatility and those that price drives interest, and as you see bigger and bigger amounts, you'll have more people get in. I know, like you could almost take the origin of NFTs back, and I'm going out on a ledge here, but you could take the origin back to that original Genesis CryptoKitty sale of 100K, which may or may not have been wash trading. Who knows? But that got people interested, and then the CryptoKitties spawned a lot of what you see today in the NFT world. So interesting stuff, man. As we see bigger and bigger price sales, we saw, like we talked about, Christie's 100K. I think that's definitely in another realm of NFTs. As we see, it's not a crypto kitty by any means, but yeah, man, it'll be interesting to see as we see bigger and bigger sales where the interest goes. You're muted.
Muted again, but
Sorry, the kids, she's loud today. I said Chris Tuttle in chat actually pointed out that was Delphi Digital that did the big Axie purchase.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of go into a little bit into like how, holding these old NFTs, right? Like the early CryptoKitties, the early Axies. Yeah, some people are selling them and they're making a whole lot of money right now. But imagine how much they're going to be worth in a year from now, like when more people know about this, when having a 1 of 10 NFT is even more rare, because instead of being 700 holders, you've got 7,000 holders, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're going, and I think that's where this is all leading. And I think obviously gaming, and I've said it before, gaming is where NFTs I think are going to pick up the most steam and where they're going to have the biggest effect short term. And I think that's within the next 3 to 5 years. And like I've said before, I think by the time my son, he's just turned 4, by the time he's 13 and he can buy a skin on Fortnite 3 or whatever, it's going
Mm-hmm.
to 100% be an NFT. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they're called NFTs at that point. I think that I'm on the side of the debate that once we gain mass adoption, they probably won't be called
I will grab you
NFTs.
some in a
So,
second.
anyways, guys, it looks like Ronin's kind of getting real busy. He's got something to do in just a second, so we're gonna hop off here. We had a great episode. I think we reached about 58 was the final, as far as the
Yes.
all-time high, and then we also had the whale guys in the community. So, 100% great episode. Buffalo ran that reel. That was probably the coolest part of the episode. So, Buff,
Yeah,
you're
thank you
amazing,
to
man.
everybody who supported us today. Thank you guys so much for sharing the links all over the damn place. We appreciate you very much. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week, okay?